Bingo. There's your bingo card. Jose Roman is being interviewed with Josh of the Lab and Chris McDonough on McDonough's show, which is the interview room. And Jose is talking about the fridge, about the dogs, grandmother's trailer, just the various aspects of life on the hill and the situation there, how the children played, the layout of the home and who stayed where. And when Jose first arrived, Ellie Hunter's sister, they were crashing for that weekend. And he's just talking about how the kids would kind of fend for themselves and they would play hide and seek. They would come inside and say, "We're hungry." Candace would say, "Well, there's a pizza, you know what to do." And that it was sort of mountain time. There's not a lot of structure, which is something that we already know about and we've discussed here. You know, that lack of routine and guidance and everything. And this is why Jose Roman thought that he was up there maybe for 6 months, and it was around 6 weeks. He just lost track of time. But one thing he says, you know, he is talking about that blue couch that's in front of the door down in the dungeon. And this is to stop Summer getting out that door, right? And it's there as a barrier. And the idea that Candace puts forward to you is that her daughter was taken from that room, and that can't happen with that blue sofa there. Is the moving of the blue sofa, like what did they do with it? Lift it up and take it up to the house? Well, I don't think we saw anything that looked like a comfortable sofa up in the house when McDonough takes us through with Candace. Was it just something that was dumped on the lawn or in the woods there? Just another piece of rubbish? Who knows? But that sofa was moved. And I believe it's very likely it was moved so that the story of Summer being abducted can be true. Now, Summer runs off a lot, apparently. Jose has confirmed this, and it's something that we all sensed, at least I did, that Summer was used to running very free range over Ben Hell, maybe getting down to the road, maybe getting down to Beach Creek Road, and without really a lot of supervision except from the other children. And it just adds to the accident happened scenario, something whilst Summer is with grandmother or with Candace or both of them, or with Hunter and Candace, and grandmother also knows, you know, it just ties in. They had to move that sofa. I'd love to know where it is on the property, but the fact that it wasn't there, probably wasn't there when TBI were there. It had been moved that afternoon. This is one of the secrets, I believe, that the boys are keeping. And it's so foul. I think we could all agree it's so foul to put that burden on these boys, the burden of secrets, especially when this is messing with their heads, because it's a secret about their little daughter, you know, the little girl, their sister, they're having to keep. And maybe they haven't kept these secrets, but Jose has just said on Chris McDonough's show about that blue sofa and why it was there. It's there as a barrier. So how can Summer have disappeared out? I know it looks like there's a bit of a trail, so maybe after October 2020 the sofa was moved so that Summer can run out that back door and up to the tree. But who knows? I just feel like there's something to be discovered there. We know that there is smoke and mirror machinations going on here. We're asked to, you know, do too many mental gymnastics to believe Candace's story. And it just seems so much more likely that, I mean, to me, you know, you can never say with certainty, it's just in my opinion, you know, but I'd be 99.9% sure that something through complete and utter useless neglect has happened, and maybe Candace is so terrified of Don that she's hidden Summer. Maybe she has got it in her to do that. I know there's allegations out there now via Just K's channel that Candace took Summer to Don, and then she never saw her again after that, and the farce of the 911 call subsequently occurred. You know, that story could just be Grandis having some kind of twisted loyalty to the daughter that she's never really been a good mother to, and she thinks that it helps to say that Don had Summer last, but she's actually, you know, wholly implicating her daughter in the disappearance by saying that her daughter actually delivered Summer to Don. Makes her complicit, doesn't it? So, I don't know. I just feel like there's something there to do with the sofa. We need to know when it was actually removed, because that whole house was reconfigured. They've put bunk beds up in that first room in the main house upstairs. They weren't there when Jose was staying, and you know, the whole thing is just utterly bizarre. Utterly bizarre. Candace told Jose that she checked the fridge, that it didn't lock. So when Hunter and the boys are playing hide and seek with Summer could go into that fridge. Candace apparently didn't like this, but Summer wouldn't listen. Candace checked the fridge out, made sure that it actually couldn't lock her in. Apparently that was that. It's interesting. They say, he's saying on one hand no one's phones worked, and grandmother didn't have a phone at the time that Jose was staying there. So this is in the period around September, October 2020. And no one's phones worked. Even Ellie and Hunter's phones, they didn't work. They'd have to drive out away from Ben Hell to get service, maybe all the way to Kingsport. So he also says that Candace was calling Don all the time and asking for money, and then she would swear and things like that. And it wasn't Don calling Candace. So he's not being the doting father calling to talk to his daughter or his other boys or talk to his wife. Candace is ringing Don, begging for money for food. But she was drinking several nights a week. And maybe she was making the call when they all went into Kingsport together. Jose didn't extrapolate on that, and it wasn't asked. Maybe they're going to cover it now. Anyway, I'll speak to you later. I just wanted to talk about that. The blue sofa in front of the door downstairs in the dungeon wasn't there when McDonald was there. Was it there when TBI turned up that night? Or had it been taken out because it doesn't fit the narrative? Jose is saying it's there to stop people coming in and out of the dungeon, and that essentially makes it more of a death trap, doesn't it? You know, but specifically because Summer was a runner, and the story that we're told we must believe by Candace and Grandis, by Candy Hera and Candace, is that Summer went out that door and maybe was taken, or someone came in through that door and took Summer. That's what we're led to believe. Jose confirms that the dogs would 100% bark. Even if they knew you, they would go up to you. They'd bark if they didn't know you. You wouldn't get on that hill without them knowing, etc. It's all crazy. So if Summer ran away, she didn't run away from down in the dungeon, most likely. But what do you think? Do you think she actually did get up out of that car? Do you think she was already unconscious? Do you think something happened to her in grandmother's trailer? She gave her a piece of candy. I've always hated that expression. Candy for a baby. We're learning about Candy Hera's big stash of medications that she had to be on. Who knows what Summer got into? There's not a lot of safety and care for health and well-being on that hill, there's not a lot of parental guidance or upbringing, if you know what I mean. It's basically, sounds like it was a free-for-all. Anyway, I'll let you go. I'm going to go back and listen to the rest of this interview with Jose on the interview room.